Now, if the government is going to mandate that they are responsible for your well-being, they have to ensure the safety of your well-being.
Rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof or anything other than that.
Clip 1. 2024 is shaping up to be the year of revelations, and no one is safe, especially not the Hollywood elite's big names, are being dragged through the mud, and the headlines just keep getting de-icer by the day. If you thought Katt Williams was done airing out dirty laundry in Hollywood, think again, he's back at it. And this time he's got Steve Harvey in his sights. But this isn't just a celebrity feud. Oh no, it goes way deeper. We're talking secrets that have been festering for decades, blackmail, betrayal, and parties that'll make your head spin, so buckle up. Because we're diving head first into the rabbit hole of Hollywood's most shocking scandals. And trust us,
took Sean Diddy Combs into custody. He's seen in this video entering the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan with others when agents from Homeland Security Investigations approach and separate him. They place Combs under arrest and lead him out the front door in handcuffs.
Now, if you remember Katt Williams' infamous sit-down with Shannon Sharpe earlier this year, you'll know that Katt didn't hold back. He dropped bomb after bomb about Shaw, Diddy, CS, Steve Harvey, and a bunch of other listers. You could almost hear jaws dropping across the internet. The truth is, Katt's been warning us for years Hollywood is a twisted place, and the people at the top, they have secrets they do anything to keep buried, but 2024 is proving to be the year those secrets come to light, and it's all starting with Diddy and Steve.
He controlled every aspect of her life. He is accused of frequently beating her and would hide her in hotel rooms for days until the bruising and signs of abuse were gone.
Interview with Shannon Sharpe. Katt made some wild claims about Diddy's parties. Now, if you know anything about Diddy, you've probably heard the rumors swirling around his legendary mansion parties. And let's just say these weren't your typical industry gatherings. According to Katt, these parties had a darker side, with things going on behind closed doors that would make even the most seasoned Hollywood insider raise an eyebrow. Katt even mentioned being offered millions 4 times, in fact, to protect his integrity. And what was he protecting it from exactly? Well, according to Katt, Diddy had some pretty wild requests. And let's just say Katt wasn't interested in partaking. You got to tell him no. Katt said P to be one a party. And you got to tell him no, all lies will be exposed. That's all.
All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
Katt claimed that Steve Harvey, yes, the same Steve Harvey we all know from Family Feud, has been Diddy's slave for years. And while it all comes down to some tapes that Diddy allegedly has on Steve from those infamous mansion parties, the implication here is clear Steve's been
the same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark.
Let's rewind a little bit in case you didn't know Steve Harvey and Diddy go way back. They've been friends for years, with their relationship dating as far back as 2005. And that's not all. Steve's stepdaughter Lori Harvey has also been romantically linked to Diddy. That's right, Lori, who was only 22 at the time, was seen hanging out with Diddy, sparking rumors about the relationship. But here's where it gets even juicier. Before Diddy, Lori was reportedly linked to Diddy's son, Justin Combs. Yeah, let that.
And in this lawsuit, he claims that essentially P. Diddy was the Epstein of the rap industry.
Katt, being a Hollywood insider that he wasn't going to let this one slide, he dropped the BOM that Steve might have actually encouraged Lori to get involved with Diddy, and not just for love. Oh no, this was all about keeping things quiet. According to Katt, Steve Harvey allowed Lori to get close to Diddy as part of some larger scheme, one that involved keeping Steve's own secrets bare.
And a lot of the evidence, alleged evidence, that's been gathered in this case was from those 2 raids that were conducted on his personal homes in Miami and Los Angeles. And the indictment names the things seized that he allegedly made videos of these performances that have been named freak-offs.
Katt even said that Steve views Lori as nothing more than an ATM card, suggesting that Harvey's motives were far from paternal. But let's be real, this is Katt Williams we're talking about. And when he gets going to shade his endless Lori and Diddy were spotted all over the place back in 2019, from Cabo Sancas to Italy, with the media going wild over their globe-trotting adventures. They even dined with Lori's parents, Steve and Marjorie Harvey, during a trip to Italy. And that, my friends, is where people really started connecting the dots. How could Steve be okay with his stepdaughter dating a man 27 years older than her, especially when that man had been romantically linked to her ex-boyfriend, his own sons?
Stand-up comedian, entertainer, television host, family man. But most importantly, I happen to be a man of faith.
It's the kind of twisted Hollywood drama you just can't make up, but Katt Williams wasn't done. He wasn't just calling out Steve for being okay with Laura's relationship. He was suggesting that Steve was actively complicit in keeping things quiet. And that's when the rumors of blackmail started flying. According to Katt, Steve had attended some of Diddy's notorious parties back in the 90s and early 2000s, and Diddy allegedly recorded him. That's the secret. That Katt's hinting at the leverage that Diddy has been holding over Steve's head for years.
Replete with very, very serious and salacious allegations, including allegations that Combs had cameras.
Now, if you thought this was just a one-time thing, think again. Katt's got a history of going after Steve Harvey, and the beef between these two has been brewing for a long time. In fact, during that same interview with Shannon Sharpe, Katt didn't hold back. He ripped into Steve, calling him a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good and look like Mr. Potato Head. And that wasn't all. Katt claimed that Steve stole material from fellow comedian Mark Curry and used it to launch his own sitcom, The Steve Harvey Show, back in the day.
Why would you do all of that man's stuff that he did on his show on yours and then do the dude's stand-up when you go on the road?
Let's break that down for a second. Katt accused Steve of straight up stealing the idea for a show from Mark Curry, another comedian who had his own sitcom called Hanging with Mr. Cooper. According to Katt, Steve attended one of Mark's live tapings and then went on to create a show where he played a similar character, a principal who wore a suit and ran a school the shade was real. And Katt didn't mince words. He basically accused Steve of being a fraud who built his career on the backs of other people's work.
The special housing unit is a 24-hour lockdown unit, which means that any movement within that unit is controlled and coordinated, and no inmate moves outside of his cell without being in full restraints, to include leg irons, handcuffs, a belly chain, and at least 2, if not 3 staff members escorting them.
But Katt didn't stop at the past. He went in hard on Steve's present-day career, too. He brought the fact that Steve Harvey supposedly retired from stand-up comedy after losing a comedy battle to Katt himself. According to Katt, this went down in Detroit in front of a crowd of 10,000 people. And the reason Steve lost Katt says it's because he exposed Steve for wearing a wig. Yep, you heard that right. Katt claims that Steve's iconic bald head isn't all it seems, and that he actually wore a wig for years hiding the truth from everyone. And when Katt called him out on stage, it was game over. Steve, according to Katt, couldn't handle the heat and decided to step away from stand-up altogether. Are you not afraid about being black?
Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
What do you mean again? These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything.
Federal authorities recently raided Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami, looking for evidence in connection with a major investigation. And what's the investigation about, you ask? Well, it's looking into some seriously shady activities that Diddy's been linked to for years. And if the allegations are true, this could spell disaster for a whole lot of people, Steve Harvey included.
You know, I think in federal court and for these charges, they would say it's routine, but in the public realm, this is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, I mean, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail cell, right?
Katt has been dropping hints for a while now, saying that 2024 would be the year that Hollywood's darkest secrets come to light. And with Diddy's recent arrest, it's starting to look like he was right. The FBI, along with other law enforcement agencies, are investigating Diddy for a whole range of crimes. And it's not looking good for the music mogul. And here's where things get interesting. If Diddy goes down, he's not going down alone. According to Katt, there are a lot of...
That clearly there is a criminal investigation underway, and that they believe that there would be evidence of crimes in one or both of these homes.
Parallels to R. Kelly's case come into play. Remember how R. Kelly's downfall started with whispers and rumors, and then all of a sudden the legal system caught up with him. Well, many are saying that Diddy's case is shaping up to be just like that. Diddy, like Kelly, is a hugely influential figure in the music industry. And for years, he's managed to keep his reputation relatively clean despite the swirling rumors. But with this investigation heating up, it seems like the law is finally catching up to him.
There are some problems that the defense has brought up originally, but it seems like, just from reading this 14-page indictment, that there is enough physical evidence to perhaps get a conviction in this case. We shall see. These are allegations.
Katt has been saying for years that these Hollywood elites aren't as untouchable as they seem. All these big deviants are all catching hell in 2024, Katt said recently, adding that it doesn't matter if you're Diddy, Steve Harvey, or any other big name. If you've got secrets, they're coming out this year. Katt also mentioned that he's been collecting information for 30 years, and now he's ready to expose everything. I know so many things I shouldn't know, and they all know what he said.
Why doesn't the government want him to turn himself in? Because then they can't ask for detention. So they go and they arrest him. They arrest a guy who came to New York to turn himself in.
So what does this mean for Steve Harvey? Well, if Katt's to be believed, it means that Steve could be facing some serious fallout from his association with Diddy. Katt's been hinting for months that there's more to the story, and with Diddy now in the legal crosshairs, it's only a matter of time before more names start getting dragged into the mix. Clip 7.
Then you asked it, why you not a movie star? I didn't want to be a movie star. This the same bro that hated on Bernie with this same thing.
And let's not forget, Katt's been talking about receipts. He's hinted that he has proof of everything he's been saying. And if that pro comes to light in the courtroom, it could be game over for a lot of people. Steve Harvey's career, his reputation, and his family legacy could all be on the line. This whole situation is just starting to unfold, but one thing is clear: the drama between Katt Williams, Steve Harvey, and Diddy is far from over, and with Diddy's legal troubles getting worse by the day, the stakes couldn't be higher. The question is, how far will this go? Clip.
Now, so what is next? Is he going to be in jail in this facility until the trial begins? Is there a chance he could, get moved earlier than that?
As of this moment, as of this hour, as of today, yes. But of course, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to be appealing this thing next to the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals to overturn the judge's order here to try and get him actually released to his mansion. So
finally catching up to the man who once seemed untouchable. And if you think it's just about him, think again. This is about the whole inner circle, and names like Steve Harvey are right there in the mix. But what exactly went down and why now?
The issue is, it seems as though he wants to kind of like exert power and dominance over people who don't really want it.
Clip 19. Diddy's been under the radar for a while despite all the headlines and scandals over the years. But earlier this year, it all came crashing down when federal agents raided his homes in Los Angeles and Miami. Yes, you heard that right. Multiple properties, multiple locations. Law enforcement agencies didn't just walk up the front door. Either they came prepared, arriving by boat and taking Diddy's compounds by storm. And get this, they even detained his sons Justin and King Combs while they searched the properties. Now, while it was later clarified that his sons weren't arrested, you have to wonder, why did it take such a heavy-handed operation for someone as high profile as Diddy?
Stacey Schneider. And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise.
The Southern District of New York, yep, the same district that took down A.R. Kelly, is leading the investigation. And let's just say they don't play around. This is the same group that specializes in taking down powerful, untouchable figures who have been skirting the law for years. They're not interested in just slapping Diddy on the wrist. They're out to dismantle an entire network. And they're using the same tactics they used to bring down R. Kelly now. Here's the thing: Diddy's case isn't just some minor legal hiccup. The charges against him are serious, including racketeering, conspiracy, and transportation to engage in illegal activities. Yeah, it's deep, and if convicted, Diddy could be looking at a lifetime behind bars. The fact that the Southern District is involved tells you everything you need to know about how big this is. They don't go after small fish. This is the same playbook. They had to build their case against Kelly where they linked together years of accusations and rumors connecting the dots in ways that left no room for doubt. Clip.
Now you got the Diddy situation where he jumps on a private jet, they say yesterday, and is on his way to the Cape Verde Islands.
But here's the real kicker: why now Diddy's been skating by for years despite all the wild stories that have been swirling around him, from the rumors of those infamous mansion parties to the whispers about his shady business dealings. Diddy has always seemed to come out on top. So what changed? One theory that's been floating around, and let's be real, it's juicy, is that Diddy may have been playing both sides all along. There's been speculation for years that he's been working with the authorities as some kind of informant We mean, think about it. How has he managed to get away with so much for so long? The conspiracy theory goes that Diddy, knowing he was involved in some shady business, started cooperating with the FBI or other agencies to protect himself in exchange for information. He was allowed to continue living his lavish lifestyle, while others around him fell sweet. Another big name in the industry has hinted at this for years, saying Diddy's managed to avoid serious legal trouble because he's got powerful people on his side. Clip.
Clients describe NBC as hell, as the worst conditions they've been in.
According to Shook, Diddy's been working for both sides for a long time. If that's true, it would explain a lot. It would explain why, despite being connected to all sorts of scandals, Diddy always seemed to land on his feet. But now things are different. Maybe the authorities don't need him anymore. Maybe they've got all the information they wanted. And now it's Diddy's turn to face the music. Clip 20.
Do you believe Diddy is a dangerous person?
Yes.
Here's where it gets even crazier. Could Katt Williams have been right this whole time? Remember, Katt's been talking for years about the dark side of Hollywood and how these big names are all part of some twisted game. He's hinted that there's a secret network running things. And now with Ditt's arrest, it started to look like Katt wasn't just talking for the sake of it. I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets. I know so many things I shouldn't know, and they all know it. Katt said he's been saying for months that 2024 would be a year of reckoning. And here we are watching Diddy's empire.